since its greatest hit, so it was probably released later, but that doesn't affect that this is the PlayStation 1, this is how it was first seen. This introduced quite a few people to the series. Obviously, I'm doing them out of release order. I'm doing them in chronological order, so. You are Snake, a government agent on a mission to regain control of a secret nuclear weapons base from terrorist hands. Lightly armed and facing an army of foes, Snake must avoid firefights in order to survive. If Snake can locate them, he can utilize advanced hardware ranging from silenced pistols to ground-to-air missiles. Enemies react to sight and sound, so stay quiet and stay in the shadows. State-of-the-art graphics, textures, transparencies, models, and explosions. Gripping story with I'm not 100% sure what that word is. Gripping story with multiple endings and a truly cinematic experience. So we all know how cinematic Hideo Kojima likes to be. I honestly don't think that Metal Gear Solid was horribly disproportionate with game to cutscene ratio, and it doesn't really bother me. I play the Metal Gear games for story, and I really like Solid. The only one that I dislike is 5, but that was a previous review. Again, like all my others, I'm not really going to talk much about the story because Metal Gear you need to go play. And you may notice that I skipped the NES ones. That's because I never beat them. I own the original, but I have never beaten it. So I'm going to be focusing only on the Solid series. Like every other game, though, you focus primarily on sneaking. I suppose you can go gun-ho blazing, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to sneak in. It's a sneaking mission. You are in Alaska, as I recall, close to Alaska, on an island called Shadow Moses, which, as I recall, is close to Alaska. It's extremely cold. And your foes are the genome soldiers, highly advanced soldiers that would really make you think twice when you say highly advanced. Back then, though, I'm sure this game was groundbreaking. Like it said, stunning visuals for the time, keep in mind. Now we have things like Metal Gear Solid 4 and 5. Back then, though, this was way awesome and pretty darn good. The sneaking can feel a little bit archaic. There is first-person mode, but you cannot shoot or move in it. You only look. Snake only has 2 ways he can move. You have standing, where he can run, crouching, where he can't move but he's harder to detect, and then you have crawling, where he's harder to detect. He can get in smaller areas and he can move again. We won't get a game that can implement him walking while crouching until Solid 4. I should note that Peace Walker allows you to walk while crouching, but you can't move while crawling. And Solid 5 is one of the only 2 games, not counting, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, I just count them as one game. 5 is the only one of the 2 games, or one of the only 2 games that allows Snake to actually run while crouching and crawl. Solid 4 and Solid 5 are the only ones that allow him to do that. All the others either allow you to move while crouching but not while crawling, or allow you to crawl but not walk while crouching. It's a really odd thing, but who knows? I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 1 wouldn't have been able. The PlayStation 1 probably could have handled it, but they didn't. Their first run with technology this powerful, so can't blame them. And I don't really think it would have added that much. This is one of well, I want to say one of my favorites, but the entire series, except for 5, is one of my favorites, so. And I don't really have a list. But, as I said, the controls can feel a little archaic. You can't shoot while moving unless you hold, I think it's triangle and square, or square and X, I can't remember, but I can guarantee you by the end of a certain boss fight, you are going to feel like you have arthritis. Anyone who's played this game knows what fight I'm talking about. But, archaic design aside, that's where this game comes in. The re-release on the Nintendo GameCube released in March 9th, 2004. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Classic Metal, New Gear. Two of the greatest games of all time, Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, are fused together to form the Nintendo GameCube classic, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. As Solid Snake, your mission is to rescue hostages from an Alaskan military installation and prevent a terrorist group from launching a nuclear strike. For the first time ever, experience Metal Gear Solid in the way it was always meant to be played. A reinvented Metal Gear Solid game, directed by Hideo Kojima. Stunning next-generation graphics with an all-new, breathtaking cutscenes. Awesome new gameplay including hanging from ledges, somersaults, and first-person mode, and the ever-acclaimed cinematic storyline. So as it said, there are new gameplay elements. This not introduces, because this came out after Sons of Liberty, which introduced it, but this has somersaults where you press the button and Snake does a barrel roll, as I recall. Or somersaults, I can't remember. I can't remember if he does what Raiden does. You can hang from ledges, which makes a later part. They add something in a later part of the game, like way later, to make it quite a bit easier. And what was another one? And first person mode. As I said, the PlayStation 1 did have first person, but in the Twin Snakes, you can fire well in first person. Utterly crippling the game. Twin Snakes is a lot easier. It's also way over the top with action. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there is a scene where Snake, no joke, jumps on a missile and then jumps off. Not kidding. And there's more insane than that. I like Twin Snakes just for the hilariousness of the overplayed action. I do enjoy seeing the story told in better graphics, though. The GameCube was capable of more than the PlayStation 2. Graphically, I'm not 100% sure on the specs, but because I don't, Dad looked it up multiple times, and I don't remember that much. But the GameCube graphically was able to output higher graphics than the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, but because of, I think, certain other limitations and the discs being significantly smaller, not significantly, but they are smaller, not many games utilized it. It is nice to see the story of Solid 1 being told with better graphics. I love seeing my favorite model of Metal Gear Rex, in higher graphics, and I know I can see that in Solid 4, but it's nice to see it here in action, even though you see it in a lot more action in Solid 4. Moving on. Twin Snakes is just a fun little game to have. Can you take it a little less seriously because of the added action? Probably. But is it still a fun, fantastic game that you should probably own? Definitely. The only problem is, Twin Snakes is actually quite difficult to find. I don't know why. Maybe it was because not many people were willing to jump because most people thought that the GameCube was inferior to the PS2 in basically every way. I don't know, but it is difficult to find. But I'd recommend if you can, you give it a pick up. It's a fun game. It's the story you love with crazy freaking action scenes.